come and take a look and see what my California garden looks like at the end of summer. Here is some corn that was started kind of late. This is a popcorn variety, and the silks and pollen finally started to show up, so I'm hoping to get some late season corn. The squash in this bed was doing well for a while and looking lush, but I don't think anything actually got pollinated in this bed, but that's okay. The dried flower patch is doing its thing. I've been harvesting some flowers every week. I think they've actually been thriving in the heat because it took a few heat waves for them to actually start producing a lot. My cucumbers were looking really bad. The leaves have a bit of disease on them, and the heat just really did a number on them, but they seem to be bouncing back right now and producing more now. The tomatoes in this raised bed are annoying me. This was supposed to be a dwarf variety of tomato, and it is not. So I added a support cage to it, and it's just pulling the cage right out. The tomatoes didn't even taste that great, and they are prone to splitting and cracking anyways, so I am probably going to chop this plant down soon. The marigolds in this bed have seen better days too. They haven't even bloomed yet, but the heat just kind of killed them. I think it is safe to say that this tomato plant is done for the season. And this one is still hanging on. I did sow some sunflowers in here, but because of the squirrels, I had to place these baskets on top. Otherwise, the sprouts would be getting dug up left and right. I've got more tomatoes over here. They have seen better days, but they keep keeping on. I should have been pruning more, but due to the heat waves, it was hard to work out in the garden. Plus, it could have done more damage to the plants. So I kind of let them go a little bit, but they are still producing. I have more tomatoes in this bed, and you can see how fried this plant is from the heat waves we had, even though I used shade cloth on them. But now that it's cooling down a tad, there is some new growth. I have 3 loofahs growing on this vine, which is exciting since in the 4 years that I've tried growing it, this will be the first year I'll be successful. I'm hoping more will get going soon, but I also don't know if there will be enough time for them to reach maturity before it actually does get too cold. I've got a grow bag with some little baby pumpkins. I also hope I have enough warm days for these to actually mature. I also threw in some random corn seeds, so we'll see if I actually get anything from them. I've got some gorgeous Nada pepper plants in this bed. It took a while for them to get going, but they are really starting to take off. This pepper bed has all of my overwintered peppers from last year. I overwintered them in place, and even though they had a head start, they are now just really starting to push out a lot of flowers and peppers. Some of these did struggle with some aphid infestations, but the ladybugs are doing their job. I've got a lot of citrus trees in containers that are doing well. Some of them need to be potted up, and some of them I'd like to finally plant in the ground somewhere once I remove some plants that I don't care for in the garden that were here when we moved in. These 3 tomato plants have decided to call it quits, so I will be cutting these down pretty soon. I do have more tomato plants in here, still trying to hang on though. I've got this planter of shishito peppers that are doing really well. I have 3 plants total in here. These were badly infested with aphids, but they are doing great now, and I am getting tons of peppers, and there's a lot of flowers on them right now. I also planted some dwarf sunflowers in the front of the planter, and again, due to squirrels, I had to put these baskets on top of the sprouts because they were just getting dug up. The zinnias are also starting to take off now, which is nice, and better late than never. My strawberries are all now finally starting to do better as well. I should have gotten some June-bearing varieties to have strawberries sooner this summer, but all the ones I have are ever-bearing. But hey, I'll take them whenever I can get them. These are goji berry flowers. They are so pretty as a bloom. Over here, I have some late-season Cosmo sprouts in this bed, also covered because, again, squirrels have been coming through here and digging them up. I am really hoping these pomegranates stick and don't fall off. I have been hoping for pomegranates for a few years now, so I really hope this is the year. These are all very young trees, though, so I'm not expecting any fruit this year, but if I get some, I will be really happy. Some fall gold raspberries are starting to ripen, which is exciting because they are just really tasty and sweet. In the front yard, I have another container of zinnias that I sowed last week, covered of course because you guessed it, squirrels. The okra in this bed didn't do well at all this year. They are just starting to die off. This okra has been on the plant for a while, so it's probably too tough and stringy to eat now, but I did start some flower seeds in here, again, covered due to the squirrels, and maybe I'll put some other fall and winter things in here once it cools down. So as you can see, my summer garden is still going pretty strong. I really can't start any of my fall and winter seeds right now for at least a few more weeks because we are still expecting some hot days this fall, and even starting them indoors, they would likely bolt. So it's best just to wait and soak in the summer garden longer, even though fall is here.